So you want to run the world famous Dungeons and Dragons, but you just don't know how to prep for a game which you literally can do anything from helping an old lady across the road to saving the world against Asmodeus himself. Well, today I'm gonna help you out with that one. So we've all been there where we've prepped out a massive session, probably when we're a bit of a new DM, we're running our first session for our players, and we've done all this prep. We've done, we're pages and pages on the city, the main story quest that we want those players to go on, and they just go the completely opposite way. And that is one of the most annoying and most common things that kind of deter dungeon masters from continuing to do it, which is why it's so hard to find a dungeon master. But that kind of falls into the main kind of question that a lot of DMs, a lot of YouTubers and kind of Twitch DMs try to answer the question of how much prep is too much and how much is not enough. There's always that sweet line in between where the answer is, well, if you're an experienced DM, blah, blah, blah. Well, it doesn't matter, because if you're an experienced DM, you're going to be, obviously you're going to be better, but you're not going to need to know those kind of questions. You're going to learn them yourself, which is what I found after I've been DMing for a couple of years now. And I'm actually starting to find small little things and little tips where I actually find it easier to kind of write things. I've got my own little tips, like you see on the screen now. I've got one for making a tavern, which is going to be a video in the future I'm going to run over. But there's some little tips that I go through on a checklist to make some notes on it, and that is my main kind of answer to everything, right? That we're going to give today is how I actually go over how I prep everything for my my sessions. I personally don't actually prep the session, so to speak. I leave the session itself to flow naturally through the world, but what I find is you have to have the world for it to flow through. So we're going to give an example here. We're going to have a city that the party is going to be, or a town or a village, that the party is going to be at for the next session or two, maybe. It really depends. They're going to start there, or they're just arriving there, and we want to give them something to be doing there, and something for them to find their way through. So as you see at the top there, I've got a couple tips, little dot points of what the city is. Always, when you're running D&D sessions, have a Google Doc opened that you can make notes up, that you make up on the fly. So you have it written down what you've made on the fly in improv. As a DM, you're gonna have to learn some small improv lessons. So you see these 4 dot points that will prompt me to kind of make more story and bounce off my players as they bounce off what I'm giving them, and that kind of makes that cooperative storytelling game, which that is what D&D it is. It's not the DM storyteller, it's the players and the DM kind of coming together and telling a story together. So I have City of Thieves, so it's a bit of a low life city with a bunch of thieves around. It's a port city, so it has trade and stuff, and maybe the thieves kind of take tax over all of the imports and stuff. It's not actually run by the nobles, that they're kind of just figure pieces. Has an amazingly beautiful castle on the top of the city, kind of giving some scum, low life port city, kind of like Tortuga. This is how I pitched it when I was making this one, and this is from one of my early games as well. This is not a refined version of it. There's actually some of my kind of earlier stuff. It's kind of Tortuga, but it has this beautiful castle on the top of the hill, which kind of makes the party start questioning things. And what you can do there with this starting to question things, if they say a good idea, you just quickly write that down and kind of improv that. You can just steal that really cool idea, and then that really cool idea that the player had said, you know, you can actually put it into the game, and it can be like, wow, the player will feel, oh my god, I actually guessed the correct thing. Little do they know you just stole their idea, but they feel special because they guessed it. But next one is Vampire Leia. If there's something done for the next couple of months, the city comes back and the city will be undead. So kind of makes it feel like the world is actually doing things. It's not just like a video game where, like Skyrim, where they pause scenes while the players go around and everything else is frozen in place. And that gives me a cool little idea of this vampire kind of running around, and that castle on the top of the hill is actually run by vampires, and that's kind of who runs this thing. So next I go down and I got the Holy Trinity. I believe in a lot of Holy Trinities. A lot of YouTubers I watch I believe in the same thing. For kind of villages, I believe in you need taverns, obviously, core part of D&D. Then I think you need religious place. There's gonna always be gods in D&D, unless your campaign doesn't have it, but most will do, and there'll be probably a cleric or a paladin or something. There might be even a patron, a little shrine for a patron for one of your warlocks or something like that. It's really up to you, but a religious place for prayer. And they normally have some little quests as well that's really good for them to kind of run. And then the next one is shops. You're always going to want a general store at least, or a blacksmith, or an alchemist, something interesting like that. So we go down, and I'm giving my two kind of general stores. There's the Rat's Den, a pub full of thieves and gamblers, a bit of a dodgy area. There's a goblin named Terry, that's the kind of the owner of this place. Orc security guard. This some other things. And normally what I find is you want some side quests, you want some main story quests, and you just want some kind of some information that is kind of useless, kind of very mundane and boring in there. Again, Holy Trinity. But the boring stuff, if you're wondering, I'm gonna make a bit of a YouTube video on that when I do the tavern video as well. But mundane things make the world feel normal and alive. And then we've got the next in. Same thing, just a couple dot points with some main story, some side quests, and some information. And you go through all these, and they've got the same kind of core thing. For a video, YouTube, kind of this is my more refined stuff, sorry, and this is for my upcoming kind of video. This is one of my newer stuff. It actually has history, a bit more of history, government, defenses kind of thing. These things aren't very necessary for it, but I'm building this world, and I've got some NPCs floating around that they're going to come around, some side quests. There's not many main quests in this story that's going to come up. It's more of a side questy kind of story, but I've got these things built, and I have an idea of a Holy Trinity of enemies as well. I have there's three. I don't want to give many spoilers for this campaign because it is going to be something I'm going to be running over my Twitch channel. There'll be a link in the description because I'm putting a lot of work in. I'm going to have all this art done for this this campaign, and I'm putting a lot of work into my to the actual world itself. So I'd really appreciate if you guys could check out that channel. Mean a lot to me. But getting back to the point of this video, I think having all these little things, little dot points, little interesting characters for the people, for the players that you're going to bounce off, is actually a really good way of being able to over prep and feel prepared, but not being able to on a railroad, or not having any prep at all. If there's players turn up and they want to leave, that's totally fine. But if you would notice in some of these places here, I actually have information on the surrounding areas just from this town, because there's little kind of needs and little problems that all these people have that are around the town, and I have the whole wheel kind of built up with little issues and little dot points everywhere that are things, and I know there's certain things going on in the world. So they might come and run into them, and if I have no idea what's going on in the world, and they decide to go out somewhere, I'm gonna have to make some up on the fly. But when I have a certain idea, let's say I know there's a lich that's going to be the main enemy of this campaign for the first arc, level 1 to kind of 5. If they go out randomly and they want to explore something, I can be like, okay, you come across you know, this fight scene, and there's dead bodies around, and they're like, okay, we're gonna get invested the bodies, and then they get up and there's zombies, you know, attack you, and then there's there's some information about the Lich there, all that kind of stuff. So yes, cutting this video down a little bit more. I think I've been rambling for a little bit too long already. So that is my kind of best information for new DMs or even experienced DMs to kind of solve the question of how much prep is too much prep versus, you know, not enough prep. And also the whole idea of world building isn't really preparation for your session. I will say in your session you want to have some sort of an idea going in of what the session is going to be, remembering a recap to put yourselves and your players into the mindset of that game, a little recap given that, and some sort of thing that you know is going to happen in this session. So let's say we'll go back to the Lich. I know that this Lich is going to send a letter to the party, you know, something like that. That this Lich is going to have zombies attack, and it doesn't matter where the players are, these zombies are going to turn up and just attack them randomly, and they're going to have some sort of information on them about why they're there. You know, maybe the party decides to roll some kind of check on necromantic energy or something like that. You know, they're gonna have something. So, you know, recap, know something you're gonna have in the world that's gonna happen this session, and know your world. It's very important to know your world, so the players can go around and do whatever they want. That's so you can prep as much as you want. You can prep as little as you want as well with this, as long as you have a bit of a kind of a picture there that the players can still think like the facade of a lot of prep. So when they go into somewhere, you have 3 characters prepped. So no matter where they go, you have 3 characters prepped that are interesting, and no matter where you go, you can put those characters there, and some other faceless characters with some faceless names. But yeah, that's the video today. Thank you for kind of listening and watching. I know it's a bit rambly and it's a little bit nondescript, but that is how I find the best way to prep D&D. Thanks. That's the end of today's video. Let's make sure we have some caffeine, lads. Fuck, tea's good.